Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I think we are expecting a few more people, so hopefully they come in while I'm just doing a couple housekeeping things at the beginning. So today, if you are in an area with a board that allows PDP points, you will qualify as long as we hit the hour mark, and that means you need to ask questions. So make sure you're listening and you have a couple questions for Sue at the end. That way we can hit the hour and you can get the points. To get the point, I will need your board ID and your name in the comments. If you don't put them in there, then I can't submit it for you. So you do need to make sure you do that as well. And looks like our numbers are slowly creeping up. So I'll just go ahead and give Sue a quick intro. So Sue has been working with agents in a coaching capacity for over 10 years. So you're in very good hands here. And she's also worked in Calgary in some of the top producing offices. So she knows a lot about real estate. And today she's going to look at what agents across Canada are doing to differentiate themselves and grow their businesses in this unprecedented time. So you can go ahead, Sue.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning all across Canada. And I hope everyone's got their kids in school. I've got 4 kids, but they're all grown up by now. It's fall starting. Actually, when my kids used to start school, I used to cry. Hallelujah. I saw that little joke, thought that was cute. Hey, listen, I know that since COVID, we've all changed over to, Zoominars. We've maybe been bombarded with online stuff and free Facebook and virtual cocktails and sales gurus and boring meetings. Listen, I promise this is not going to be one of those. I really am here to offer you everything I can in the time that we have, so that you can get value and hopefully reach, those unwavering results that you see in your head, that you intend, those goals that you want to hit, and reach them in comfort. I want to take you behind the doors, sort of behind the scenes of what agents that I've been working with in a coaching capacity across Canada, some little ideas that they've been doing, and some that I've heard of that I like to pass along. If you know a great agent in London, Ontario, and you're in Vancouver, you guys can talk and share what you're doing to get clients and take care of clients that are good ideas, because you're in totally different cities and you're not competing with one another. So I hope that by sharing some of the glimpses into what realtors are doing, that you could get your own ideas, have your own aha moments. And maybe that means doing something a bit better, or picking up a habit that you used to do, but you're not doing it anymore. Or maybe it's a brand new idea for something that'll keep you, on the cutting edge. So today I have a little PowerPoint. And first off, I'm going to give you an example of something real hot. I want to talk just for a minute about virtual, if you're not exposing that and using that to leverage yet. And then I've got 10 great ideas that agents are doing that you might want to do your own version of. And I couldn't help but add a couple mistakes in there that I am still seeing, because I'm still seeing them. And so I think that just by bringing them up, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, right? So if we talk about them, then maybe you'll get the benefit of not making those mistakes anymore. So I want to start with Tabasco, my favorite hot sauce, and I do enjoy a Caesar now and then. A few years ago, my hubby and I were on holidays, and we ended up going to the one place in the whole world that makes Tabasco brand hot sauce. Does anyone have a guess? Let me put my chat on. Does anyone have a guess of where they make Tabasco brand hot sauce? Tabasco brand hot sauce. Anyone guess? There's only one place in the whole world where they produce it. Okay, get used to your chat bar, because I'm going to ask a question later, and at the end you can put in your questions here, and Brick's going to help me manage that. But for right now, Mexico, good guess. I am going to write in, oh gosh, I don't know if I spelled that right. I did not. However, it's made in Louisiana. on Avery Island in Louisiana is the one place in the whole world where they make Tabasco brand hot sauce. For over 150 years, the McIlhenny family has been producing this brand, and their family and generations have lived and worked on Avery Island. But here's the thing, Tabasco wasn't always a top brand. In the early days, they had a problem. You see the Tabasco peppers, those little Tabasco peppers, they're grown all over the world. So wherever it's a hot climate, you can grow a Tabasco pepper. None in Canada, by the way, but in the rest of the world. And then when they're ripe, they are all hand-picked by pepper pickers. That's a real thing. And then they are brought down to Avery Island in Louisiana to be produced into hot sauce. But what they discovered was if those peppers were not picked perfectly ripe, then the sauce was off. It'd be, too sour, too bitter. It was not perfect. So the McIlhenny family had a big problem. How can they make sure it's perfect every single time? And so, 150 years ago, they gathered around the farmhouse table and they did a brainstorm. How can we come up with a solution to this problem? And you know what? Someone came up with something very simple. He got up, went in the backyard, and he grabbed a stick. And they painted the end of the stick the perfect shade of Tabasco red. They called this stick Le Petit Baton Rouge. Anyone speak French? You can see it's the little red stick. And they gave one of Le Petit Baton Rouges to every single pepper picker all over the world. So if they were out in the field and they weren't sure, they didn't need to call over a manager. They didn't need to second guess. They didn't need to question anything. All they needed to do was take that tool out of their tool belt and measure the ripeness of the pepper. And if the pepper was ripe, if it met the standard, then it was added to the bounty. It's such a simple tool, a simple guide, a simple measuring stick that has been a key ingredient to the success of Tabasco brand hot sauce. And so I ask people, what kind of measuring sticks have you got in place so that every single thing that you do measures up to the standard, it is repeatable and scalable. Anyone that joins your team knows where to measure to. And, once you get the basics right, like Tabasco did, sure, they start off with their original hot sauce, but now they have so many flavors, mild, raspberry, scorpion. So then once you've got the basics right, you can expand. What measures have you got in place? Good, yes, so there's lots of things there. I want to just share one example of probably the best and fastest rises to real estate success that I have personally seen and not just heard about. David Peltier called me 10 years ago or so. He had just got his real estate license. Now he came out of an account management where he did know some stuff about marketing, but he did not know the real estate business at all. And so he called me because he needed to fast track his license into money right away. He had a wife, 2 daughters, 2 dogs. He actually needed to support his family. He wasn't just doing this for a hobby. And so when we went to work and check in if you've done this for yourself too, we started with those basic measuring tools. When he got a lead, what was he going to do with them? What CRM would he use? When he went to a seller's house, did he have a nice guide, a brochure that was personal, that was good marketing collateral, that had resource in it so people wouldn't throw it out? When he worked with his buyers, how was he going to treat them? How was the communication? Every step of the transaction, we went through and decided what would be an excellent level for him to do. After only a few months, we had all of those basics into place, and he began marketing. He chose a neighborhood which he lived in and loved, and he started marketing, consistent. It's called Target and Harvest. At the end of his 3rd year, he called me, Sue, help me. I don't know what to do. I'm drowning. I've totally lost balance in my life. I think I need to hire somebody, but I don't know how to do that. Well, I kind of scoffed because I know, CREA stats tell us that about 60% of agents are only doing between 0 and 12 deals a year. I said, David, how many deals did you do this last year? And he said, I'm up to about 68. Okay, so, and I said, now I understand you do have a problem. I don't know if you've ever gone to the NAR conference, the National Association of Realtors, but they have a great international conference every year. And the first one I ever went to was in Vegas, and they did these benchmarks. So if you're doing, they said, if you're doing 30 to 40 deals a year, that would definitely validate you hiring a full-time assistant. Well, David was doing double that with no help. So we got him an assistant, and I just point this out briefly because if anyone's at that place where they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I wish I had somebody to handle the paperwork, the client care, the CRM, I do have a great handy hiring guide that I made myself, which is what I use to help people hire all the time. If you email me, I'm happy to send one out, no charge, of course. Just have a look and you can hire somebody. So he hired somebody. Do you know by the end of that next year, he was up to 100 deals a year. And he kept that up for the next 3-4 years, 100 deals a year, and kept expanding his network. One of the things that David did, he loves art and and the finer arts of life. And so he sponsors the Artist in Residence program with the Banff Center. And so, he's met a bunch more people, they network, they're all interested in the same thing, and he's expanded his reach. However, things go up, things go down. And last year, we in Alberta, we really hit a hard spot. I know we lost Sutton from here, and David also had to let go of his assistant. And I just want to be honest about the journey that real estate agents took. Look, he had everything in place. He did his marketing. He had a great business. But even if everything is going perfectly, it's still very helpful to have a plan B or plan C in place. So he had to let his assistant go at the beginning of COVID because things were just slow. And in this downturn, for us in Alberta, you need to have some way that you can save money and still keep building your business. But I have found that the life cycle of any agent includes at some stage, hey, it could be a global crisis, but it could be a personal crisis. It could be your health issue. It could be aging parents. It could be children. Maybe you had a baby. Or maybe you're hitting a brick wall. Maybe you've got a dead end. Maybe you don't get any new clients. Maybe you're just fed up. And so know that this is normal to go through these cycles. And anytime I talk to an agent who's really at the end of their rope, I take them there. Like, okay, let's go through this imagination. If you think that you would be better not being an agent, because that means you're going to go out and find another job. Well, where are you going to find it? It's going to take a lot of work to find another company to work for. Once you're an entrepreneur, they say you're unemployable. But let's say you find another company to work for. How many years is it going to take you to work your butt off trying to climb the ladder and get to a station, that fits your capacity? And then let's say you're working at that company for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. There is no guarantee that they are not going to lay you off. As we have seen right now, it could be global. It could be an industry that lays you off. And so I would suggest that you are in a fabulous industry with no glass ceiling. And what if you put that effort of trying to make it hard over and over and over into your own business? I like to say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Yeah, so if you will just really put that effort and that time into creating what you want to be your own business, then, hey, that you can spend all your years on that and you are not going to let yourself go. So I really want to share what's possible and the hope of this great industry. And what I want to ask you is, if this is your business, what are you willing to put your pants on for? Because we're all working behind the computers now. Guaranteed I'm dressed, but what are you willing to put your pants on for? It's your business and you can make out of it exactly what you want to make out of it. So I want to talk about behind the scenes, and I've got 10 ideas for you. And thank you. I see that. I just saw that chat. If you want one of those hiring guides, my email is sue@suestyles.com, and I'll show it at the end as well. Just because I'm running off Sutton's platform right now. So to begin with, well, we already began. I hope you got value already. Let's continue. I do want to just mention, we're all about virtual reality right now. Everyone, no matter age or experience, people have gotten on and they've raised the bar for their technology. Now, AI is a whole other ball of wax. There's a lot of great stuff you can get from algorithms and AI, but you in your industry, you're the one that needs to help your clients. And they say AI can't tell the difference between a Labradoodle and fried chicken. This is true. But you are the one who needs to take that virtual component and the technology and let your clients and potential clients know that you get it, that you're using it. When I got to be on an expert panel for a conference last month with the Real Estate Staging Association. And one of the experts there was talking about, in this market, in a down market, even top producers were gaining market share. So not even, the top producers were gaining market share. I want you to get to be a top producer, because what happens is, even when the economy is bad, you're the ones that people will trust, because they see that you get it. They see that you get the technology, that you're up with the times, and they don't feel like you're old or that you're missing something. So if you've been in business for any length of time, I know that you've probably done virtual assistants for your clients. Just 2 months ago, my client here helped someone from Florida buy a house out in Cochrane, sight unseen. She did it all virtually. So I know agents are already doing this, but what many are not doing is advertising that, is marketing that. So I would encourage you to start telling people. Put it on your website, put it on your social media, email. Now offering virtual pricing. I know you want to get into people's homes, but if somebody just wants a price online, you could offer it and open up the conversation. Virtual viewings for your convenience. If you're out of town, if you're compromised, I can offer virtual viewings. I know you all can, but just advertise it. Highlight it, tell people, you're telling people what they want. Virtual open houses, you can tell your sellers, hey, this is just part of my service. I do virtual open houses, and I'm going to take a video through your house and I'm going to post it online so people can see it virtually. Again, you're doing these things already, but if you're not, start taking advantage of talking about these things. In fact, I know a lot of agents who haven't still taken advantage of virtual social media. Hey, there's a party going on online. If you're not there and you need some help to get there, this is where the people are hanging out. You want to be one of the best. Hey, if you're a Sutton agent, they get it. They're up with technology. They're always taking training. You don't want to be just one of the rest. And need I remind you, I know I forget myself often, that sometimes realtors don't have the best reputation. So you have to fight against this and make sure people know. Now, if you're up on technology and you're virtual and you're going to add some of these things in, another great little tool that you could use is a tech tool called Calendly, so that people can just book an appointment with you. You can put this on your website. You can share it on your email signature. Hey, click here to book an appointment with me. I was working with some mortgage brokers, and they wanted people to find it really easy to make appointments with them. And so we implemented Calendly, and now people click of a button. Nobody wants to do the work. A lot of people don't even want to make a phone call anymore. So keep it high tech and get into the virtual stuff. I could go on and on, but let's get to the 10 tips. Let's say that you have good clients and they love you. I do have to ask the question, well, how many times are they actually going to work with you? They buy a house, maybe they refer you. In the meantime, you want to stay top of mind, even if they're not buying or selling. And you can do that by providing something else. So number one, let's talk about some things that agents are providing. You could partner with your stager. Now, over this COVID especially, people are antsy. They want a change. I know we went over to my mother-in-law's house. She's 88 years old. She lives in a little condo. And she was saying, oh, I was thinking about maybe moving. There's a condo for sale on the other side of the building. Do you think I should sell this one and buy that? We said, Mom, what are you thinking? She's like, I don't know. I just feel like I need something new. Well, maybe I should redo my floors. Yes, how about you renovate instead of moving? You do not need to, at 88 years old, sell your condo. You know what she ended up doing? Buying new furniture. Because people, if they're not buying or selling, they might still feel like they want to refresh. This is where you could do a great collaboration with your stager. So most realtors have a great stager that they love working with. If you've got somebody who stages occupied properties, you could make up some special, hey, we're collaborating on this, and you can send it to all of your clients on a mass email if you'd love to redecorate or renovate or refresh your home. Here's a special fee for a 1-hour service or a free consultation, and a stager can come in and help somebody. Now, personally, I actually also did this at the beginning of COVID and loved it. It felt so great. So think about partnering with a stager to let people refresh their homes. If you don't have one, I think most agents do, but if you don't, mine is Yvonne, and she's a chapter president for the Real Estate Stagers Association. There's her info. Connect with her. She could hook you up with a great certified stager all across the country. So you see, when you have one resource, and you could also offer your resources to your people. Okay, number two. Hey, if people aren't buying or selling, they're still doing other things with their houses. Maybe they are doing landscaping. Maybe they need their lawn mowed. This fall coming up, maybe they're going to need their gutters cleaned or their windows washed. You could partner with a service provider that they are going to use anyways. So for example, maybe you love Men in Kilts. They have a great brand. I know we've used them with brokerage a few times. And just partner with them and put a shout out again to your people. I'm thinking of you. I know you're going to want to clean out your gutters, wash your windows, whatever. This fall, if you call up this company, they'll treat you right. I've used them many times. Whatever your deal is, and then leverage it. Anytime you get a good idea and do something once, see if you can leverage it as a story on social media, what's going on behind the scenes. You could, if you have somebody come and service your own house, take a video of it and post it and let people know that you're out there and that you're getting things done. Okay, number three, if you ever wanted to be your own host or interviewer, you could do a podcast or even as simple as a video. There's a realtor in Calgary, Tanya Eklund, who just started in the springtime, The Vow. So she talks to women of all different careers about what they did to get there and what their hindsight is. And here's the neat thing. You can go high tech. Okay, so she actually is at a level where she hires someone to help her with her social media, or you can honestly do this low tech. Below is when I actually interviewed her last year, and we just did it on Zoom, like you and I are here right now, and we recorded it. And now, so I have Hindsight's 2020 podcast on Spotify or video, because I like doing things on video and watching videos. But here's what happens for the realtor. If you interview somebody, if you ask them about themselves and present them on your platform, you've just made a new friend. And she has all these high caliber, high level women who weren't in her social circle before. Now they've become friends. And guess what? Now they may refer her to their network as well. So that's a great idea. Win, win, win. Number 4, social media videos. Okay. I don't know if anyone was like me and did you watch Amy Schumer's Learns to Cook? She's married to a chef. And so during COVID, They filmed their own cooking show. Whatever your hobby is, you know, it could be kids or pets, your neighborhood, things in the city, business, whatever your hobby is, consider turning the camera on yourself, or if you've got a partner like Amy did, who's a chef. Well, you might know, do you know Lee Thomas Brown? Her and I spoke at a conference a few years ago, and she is hilarious. She has a great Southern accent. And what she does is she's doing these videos, my kitchen, my rules. And every so often she does a video. The one I watched, she was doing tomato sandwiches. She says, if you're a Southern girl, you know how to grow a beefsteak tomato. If you don't, girlfriend, you need to reach out to me so I can teach you how to grow a tomato. And then you take your tomato and you put it on this bread and da, 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 da. And I'll tell you, I mean, I just caught that on social media, but it was light, it was entertaining. And to be honest, I made tomato sandwiches for dinner for my husband and I. So take what you're interested in and just turn the camera on yourself. Make a little video. You could host it on YouTube if you want people to be able to go back and see it, or you could just post it on your social media. It's about connecting with people, and it's not about real estate. Okay. You can also take a page from companies that are outside of your industry. You know, let's not kid ourselves. Lots of times when it's, you know, a certain, you know, just your brokerage conference, just your brokerage meeting, all the agents from within your office, things can get a little bit, you know, too much in the family. Look outside your industry. If there's any other businesses that you love and respect, ask yourself why, and is there something you could implement into yours? This summer, my husband and I went and stayed at a hotel, a new hotel in Canada. Obviously, aren't we all holidaying in our own country? But at this hotel, they had a texting concierge service. And so on the day of our arrival, I got a text, hey, if you need anything, let us know. Actually, I needed directions. So I said, okay, I need directions. And I wanted to see, can they provide? Yes, they did. Thank you very much. When we checked in, actually the receptionist, she just had a bad customer. And so she was not in a very good mood when she got to us. But we got checked in and up to our room, and then I got a text again. Welcome to our hotel. Glad you got checked in if there's anything that you need. And I have to say that even though our check-in experience wasn't great, having that text concierge after made it all better. And then again, when we left, I actually had a conversation with the manager because I thought the service was so great. This could be something you could implement with your clients. You could have your admin do it, or you could just beef up your own texting. But think about how other companies make you feel when it's good. Support local business. So here's a little thing that I've just done with a client in Kelowna in the Okanagan, BC. We redid one of her seller guides because when she was going to houses, she felt that she didn't really have anything nice to leave potential sellers. Well, I had watched on Netflix, aren't we all watching Netflix, a show on Airbnbs. And one of the things that they did was they left a list in their property so that visitors could just have a heads up for some great local businesses. And I said to this agent, why don't we do that in the back of your seller guide? Here's a list of local businesses that she already does business with. She already recommends and refers. Let's put them in the guide. And it just helps. It's, again, win-win. You tell the business owners you're featuring them in your guide. You tell your buyers, your sellers, these are the businesses I promote. And it just makes you really come across like you get your city, you're connected, local supporting local. Great idea if you can implement it in your own business. Actually, there's an agent here who just came out with a guide for her city, and you can get it for $20. So she's selling it. So just think about how you could make that something special for your own business. How's your pets nowadays? Have you all got a deodorant that you love? If you don't, I would highly encourage you ordering a container of native deodorant. They use all organic ingredients, native to the environments. But somebody told me to order myself a container a couple years ago because their customer service is so amazing. And let me just share with you. So I ordered a thing of native deodorant. It's kind of expensive, but it was worth it because this was the first email that they sent to me. Now, yes, it's just, there it is. It's just a form email. I know that, but it came across really well. Sue, you rock. It was just another day at the office when Kelsey jumped out of her chair so fast I thought fire had engulfed her hair. We did it, she yelled. We got an order from Sue Stiles. I mean, it was like, thank you. You know who I am? The office erupted in applause, and we popped a bottle of champagne given to me by my in-laws. Thank you for being personal. I like it like that, blared from Kelsey's computer. Sue, the entire Native team is thrilled to have you as a customer. Your friends will probably start calling you Healthy Sue soon, and you're going to love it. After we've done exchanging high fives, you'll receive tracking information so you can get as excited about your delivery as we are. If you have any questions, shoot me a note, and they give me their email address. Let me ask what your email templates sound like when you're sending them out to your customers. Hey, thank you for listing your home with me, yada, yada. Oh, the house has just gone CS. Here's the next steps you need to know. Now the house is firm, let me tell you. I'll tell you, I know a lot of them are just written off the cuff, and even more are just dead and boring. You know, consider just making a simple email a great point of contact. That way people will always read your stuff. I mean, when you get an e-newsletter from somebody, a lot of time you're not even looking at it. I know I get a whole bunch. I go to my junk folder and I've read them once and they were just generic and I won't read them again. So if any of you get my e-newsletter, I hope you like them because I write them myself every single time. You know, there's nothing generic. That's how you want to make your emails come across to your clients. So think if there's something that you could do just to help with your business by looking at businesses that aren't in your industry. Okay, next, let's talk about working with more of your own special sauce. Who are you? What is your brand? What do you do great? Well, one thing I can tell you about right now is that every single realtor knows how to work from home. And if you do, hey, I'm working from home, you're working from home, you know what you could do is that you could ask your people if they need any advice. Hey, if you're from a company and now you're got a virtual office at home, ask me about it. I've been working from home for 10 years. Or you could put out social media. You could do a film. This is your special sauce. You're an expert at working from home. You could tell them about it. Yeah, social media posts, emails, that's personal emails and mass emails, and even conversations. You know, so I'm always looking at CRMs, just trying to discover what's a great CRM, what's good for what industry. And so because I work from home, we were at a golf tournament over the summer, and I had a great conversation point for all these other entrepreneurs. Hey, what CRM do you use? What are you using it for? What do you like about it? When you take what your special sauce is and share it and have conversations, now you've got new friends. This is exactly like David did, target and harvest. You target your future friends and clients, and then you can harvest them. Number 6. Now this is funny. Taylor Hack, I heard him on a video and he said, you know, our special sauce is I like to do everything right and stay likable. And it seems very simple, but it made me laugh because I've worked like Brooke was saying at the beginning, in a lot of top producing offices, not just top producing, like the tops in the world for their brokerage. Offices that are doing 200, 300 deals a year with small teams. And what I have noticed is if you're a driven agent, you know, A type, you can risk coming across like you maybe don't care that much about your clients because you're so into the business. And so I thought, okay, fair enough. That's a good reminder to stay likable. I'd call it conscious likability. Taylor does not go after new leads. He doesn't go after cold calls or anything like that because there's so much richness in the referrals. And one of the things that I don't think is new, but he talked about, is rewarding his referrers. I know every realtor I talk to thinks it is a good thing, but let me ask you, are you doing it consistently? And have you got your thing that you give out? Right when somebody gives you a referral, you should right away. So I think he was the one who talked about sending brownies right away. Now, you wouldn't send it right now, but you could send cupcakes, cookies, brownies, a Starbucks card. Do you know you can use the Starbucks app and email a Starbucks? Thank you. Thank you for telling John about me. I would love to take you out for coffee sometime, but until then, here's one on me. And it just gives people a pat on the back and they're like, oh, thank you so much. Now, if the client does do a transaction, of course, after, you're going to send them a more valuable gift. But I know a lot of those referrals don't always turn into clients, but you want people to feel like you're valuing them. So what do you have in place for referrals and referrers? Have you got it in a process? Have you got a measuring stick on it so you could hire it out even so that somebody could do it for you? I also would like to say maximize your thank yous. So when someone at the end of your transaction phones you up, or you're just checking in on there, like, thank you so much, Brooke, I really appreciate the help. This is an opportunity for you to say, oh, thank you for letting me know. Can I ask you, would you please do me a favor as I'm growing my business? For people who don't know me, would you give me a Google review and just say what you just said to me? You need to have a process to get reviews. They're huge right now. People love a third-party endorsement. So anything on Google, your Google reviews, or your Facebook business page as well, this is where people go. And if they just read a few on these third-party websites, on the platforms, that'll really help you validate your service. So maximize those thank yous. Also, you might have something where you want to give a gift for those who referred you over the last year, or you might have something you do once a year. Taylor actually gave away white, they painted pumpkins and they made them all white. So they just made them special to give out to their past clients. I would say, if you've got referrers, choose one time a year where you just give them something. It's a token. It's not about the value, but it's the token. And my birthday is Halloween. So I love the Halloween referral. Halloween's coming up. Maybe this is a good time for you to plan what you could do that doesn't take too much effort, but it's repeatable. I know another realtor who used to throw great Halloween parties. And when you were her client, she would send you these beautiful, they were beautiful invitations, so much that the clients would say to their network, man, you want to use this realtor because then you get invited to her Halloween party. So when you want people to be a part of it, you want to be touching them even when they're not buying and selling. Okay, work on your business. This section is about when you're not as busy as you want to be. Now, right now, I have heard really across the whole country that things are busy right now. But at the beginning of COVID, listen, a lot of agents, the bottom just dropped off. And some of them who'd already been thinking about working on their business jumped on the bandwagon. And I just wanted to share 3 simple things that we've done. I've worked with other agents while you're not busy. So if you're too busy to work on something right now, just keep a list that when you've got some time, maybe take care of this. Your buyer guide or your seller guide. To be able to take something from, I've seen a lot of old school like binders or ring binders or just a folder with pieces of paper in it, but to make a nice custom guide with your information, the way you say things, make it look visually nice. And then like I was talking before, you could put businesses in the back as resources, put your mortgage broker, lawyer, home inspectors in the back. Make it a valuable piece that people will keep and feel like you're taking care of them already. This guide is actually a very long project. And for a couple of agents, we've been working on them for a couple of months already, just going back and forth. So it's a longer project, but if you don't have a personalized custom guide, Once you get the content, you can get them printed off in bulk. They don't cost too much, and you can use them for years. If anybody does not have a new headshot, now I think most people are good at this. However, I can always go onto a brokerage and find the few whose old picture is still showing up. Now, this is a famous football player, JT Hay. We worked together last year. He had a great business. He wasn't doing anything wrong, but he wanted to stay in business. And so if you're getting on to retirement time and people are starting to ask, your clients are starting to say, oh, are you still in the business? Because they're seeing an old picture of you and nothing new on social media, this is a great time. Hey, just get some lifestyle pictures taken, some professional shots. Every time you update your picture, you're telling the story that you are still in business and you're working hard. And so that gives the people the impression that they can hire you. Another thing when business is slow is you might want to take some time and come up with some, what I'll call marketing collateral. What are you using to market yourself and build your brand? This one agent, she says, this is what I'm like. I like roll up my sleeves. I help my clients. I can get stuff done. And so I found a bunch of memes, and she picked a few that she resonated with. And I said, why don't we get your graphic designer to custom make it for you? Oh my gosh, her clients love this. It was just a real funny, feel good, but really is her brand. And anytime people will see the "we can do it" lady, guaranteed if they were her clients, they will think of her. And in the same way, you can do this with a color. I know the past president of the real estate board, everything is Tiffany blue. And when people see that, they would associate that with her. So you can always associate yourself and build marketing collateral that will help your business. Just like my Tabasco story. When I went to Avery Island, I wasn't planning on going there to get a business story, but the experience was just so perfect for what I always like to teach that I often, if I'm speaking at a conference, I'll give out bottles of Tabasco with my book. I actually called my book The Little Red Stick. And so I have this little gifty kind of a thing. And a lot of people, if they see Tabasco or if it's my birthday, they'll send me like a Tabasco chocolate bar. That's how you want to get on. And here's just an example. You could look through a promo catalog, but here's a realtor up in Lloydminster. She had been looking for her little gimmick for years, since I was up there about 4 or 5 years ago. And she's like, I want my own thing. And she always talks about timing the market, timing your listing. She always talks about, I have time for you. And she found these ideal little coffee pots. And so we were just going back and forth with customizing them. Personally, I told her I wouldn't put your phone number or your company on there. Just put your name and your logo. People will Google you and they will look you up and find you. But when it comes to timing, even like this, I believe it was the Korea Stats a few years ago that put out, could have been Krebs, but statistically on the MLS, when you release a house, Thursday mornings got the biggest exposure. So if you had a statistic like that, and you can tell your sellers, hey, always try to list on a Thursday morning if possible, because I know we're going to get the biggest hit out to market. Hey, that is something that will differentiate your brand. No other realtors are, not all the other realtors are talking about that. So those are a few little ideas. I hope you can make your own. Tom's story, number 8. Now here's an interesting guy. He was interviewed by one of the sales reps from Cutco Knives. And he said, during this pivot, this crisis, do you know his company did not need to pivot? And there might be some of you who've been in business for such a long time, and every year you're looking over and you're improving things that you don't need to per se pivot, but you still need to stay in the game. And if you haven't taken the opportunity with your clients to talk about, I'm here for you, to just add your relationship value, this is what they did. They were still giving videos, they were still doing emails, but they just changed the content from being all real estate sales to much more, being in tune with what was going on in the world. He's talked about visibility over ability. And I really want to point that out for everybody. Again, if you're not on social media, it's visibility over your ability. Just by people just seeing you over and over again, it tells a story that you're out there, that you're doing the work. One of the things that his group does, and he said, you know, I feel a little bit like a party planner through the year. So again, if you have admin help or anything, lots of realtors will think about doing an annual event, you know, or one big party, which I'm not against at all. But you do often have that worry. Will people show up? How many people will show up? Just because they are SVP, that doesn't mean anything. What this company does is they do a couple micro events during the year. And I really liked how he described them, in that he would target some of those A clients, the ones that give referrals, the ones he works with over and over again, and he would take them out to small events. So just think about, what could you do with your clients that's smaller scale? And that could be, you know, let's go for golf. Let's do a dinner. What about a concert? You know, if you're into music, a sporting event. And I would also like to suggest, if you invite clients, invite them to bring somebody. This is one of the best ways you'll ever get to really nurture relationships. This is way better than cold calling. Do 2 or 3 on purpose micro events during the year that are on brand with what you like. Invite some of your favorite referrers over there. Listen, I know even in working with the highest capacity office, I know that they did not have probably more than 10 to 15 great people who referred them over and over again. So this is something that you can just really pay attention to and have them bring a friend. Number 9, Tanya Eklund. She's pretty well known across the country, and I did work in her office for a while, so I am quite aware of the things that we used to do for marketing. Well, she touches her past clients quarterly. Now, I know a lot of you, like if you're with Avenue websites, you know, they'll do a e-newsletter for you, but Tanya never wanted to do that. She just doesn't enjoy those online e-newsletters herself. And so this is where what you're doing does need to be on brand. But what she does quarterly is she sends out a small little brochure. It's just comes to like 5.5 by 7, folded in half. I got mine in the mail in July. And I thought, I'm going to talk about this because more realtors could take advantage of this all across the country. Hire somebody who can just take the statistics from your board and personalize it to yourself and send it to your past clients, even just quarterly. You know, it never feels like Tanya is sending out too much stuff. And at the quarter, you may be kind of forgetting, you know, she's not top of mind. And you're like, oh, hi, Tanya, nice to see you again. Now, Tanya's been doing this probably for the last 10 years. And when I helped her in her office, one of the things that we did, so if you've been doing anything well for, you know, a lot of years, is what we did was we changed the look of it. So we changed the whole layout. We changed the look of it a little bit. And then last year, again, she changed her brand colors. So she changed the coloring of it. So just those little updates, they always make people feel like you're out there and you're doing stuff. And then guess what? You get referrals. Number 10 is the little things. The little things that we love to see that set us apart, that little chocolate bar. I have a friend out east, and she says there's a realtor there who always puts on his for sale signs a good size Canada flag. And she said, you know, I always thought that was a good marketing thing because it's very friendly and it makes people feel like he's waving at them. Now, there's lots of fun toppers you can get for your signs nowadays. You could do, you know, live here, hello, gorgeous, I could be yours. There's lots of ways that you can make your signs relate and have just people stop and go, oh, you know, that's kind of funny. Okay, so there's the top 10 things that people are doing all across the country. And I have a little game now. So intermission, get up, have a drink of water, refresh, take a breath. And I wonder if you can guess the #1 Canadian all-time best song. And go. I'm going to try and open up my chat bar here. What do you think, or what in your opinion would be the all-time best song. I actually live with a DJ, or he was a DJ most of his life. And so we're always talking about music. And I said, hey, give me a good list of songs and tell me what's the best song. Any guesses out there? Guesses for top song. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I know you're all thinking about it. Here's the charts. Number 5, Taking Care of Business, BTO. Number 4, We Kings by The Hip. Number 3, My Heart Will Go On, Celine Dion. Number 2, If I Had $1 Million, my favorite. Number 1, The Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. Good for Bryan Adams. Did anyone think of that song? Well, I of course like that song. But you know what's interesting about that song? If you look it up, if any of you play music, I used to be in a band, so I'm not really a professional musician, but I like music. If you look up this song, it's rated for a novice. Summer of '69 is so easy, anyone can play it. The chords to begin with are just D, A, D, A, da, da. You know, you can't get almost a simpler song. Another one of my favorites, Sweet Home Alabama, same thing, just simple chords. And let me just bring this home again. You've got to be able to do those simple things, the basic things, really well. You put those basic pieces together in such a way that people, consider you a #1 hit. When you get those basic chords down well, then you can add in a splash. Bryan Adams puts in a B minor and a B flat. What? You'd never see that. But he just did it in a special little way, and it gave him a #1 hit. Same thing with Tabasco. They made the sauce in a special good way, and now you can get a million sauces. They have a store, you can buy keychains, golf balls. It's a point that you can springboard from. I want to wrap up the last few minutes with talking just a bit about mistakes and missed opportunities. The first one, I think a lot of realtors across the country are on right now, which is relying on the status quo. I heard somebody say you can never take your foot off the gas because the only time that you're coasting is when you're going downhill. So relying that business is just coming to you, I would challenge you to look at what's possible and new for your business. Even if something's been working for years, I would challenge you to challenge the status quo and ask yourself, because I look at a lot of real estate websites. Is your website really working for you? Do clients like it? If they refer someone, are they going to call you because of what your bio says on your website? Don't just let things linger in the background thinking that they're okay. This year I had two clients who were children of real estate families. So they grew up in real estate and they're doing the same things the way their parents did, which seemed to have been working okay. But when they were willing to assess it, so one of the things both of them did was a 2-stage CMA presentation. So they'd go and quickly see the people's houses, and then they'd say, okay, I'll make another appointment, and then we'll meet again so they could close them up and seal the deal. I know that, 20, 30, 40 years ago, this was the way all the agents did it. They met them once, and then you wanted to meet them again, really because the first time you meet someone, you're strangers, but the second time you're friends. And so when they felt comfortable the second time, they could sign the paperwork. But nowadays, I would challenge you, if you do a 2-part process, that a lot of people, they're just ready. If you say the right things and they feel good about you, they're ready to sign the paperwork. Don't make them wait. Both of these clients have now changed their process, that they sign them up in the first meeting. And we do a couple other things to make sure that the potential sellers feel comfortable. Sure, there might be some where you have a 2-part, but they've probably saved themselves 50% of the time just by looking at what was old, what was out of date, and really what was coming across as a little bit useless. So a few years ago, my husband and I, we were on holidays just down in Montana. We were driving out to a restaurant, and we had another couple along with us going for a date. And the guys, they stop at this gas station to get gas. And my girlfriend leans over in the back car and she says, "Hey, Sue, do you have a brush? I want to fix my hair up before we go for dinner? So I looked at her and I said, sure. And I took this out of my purse. Can you all see that? It's a pick. Now, you can see I have long, straight hair. My hair is so thin. The last person in the world who needs a pick for their hair is me. My girlfriend recognized this and she started laughing so much. We were like peeing our pants in the back seat, because when she pointed it out to me, I realized, why am I combing my hair with a pick? Well, I'll tell you why. Because in about grade 8 or 9, I got a perm. And when I got the perm, my mom gave me the right tool for that kind of hair. You have thick curly hair, a pick is what you want to use. Well, I used it for that year. The perm grew out, but my habit never grew up. So look back to what you've been doing and make sure that you've got the right tool for the job. Sometimes this takes an expert point of view from outside of your forest to look at you and say, hey, what are you doing? Maybe you don't need to do this anymore. The second mistake is listing a house and believing that you could sell it without doing any marketing. And I'll tell you 2 short stories. I had a friend whose aunt was out in BC and she listed her condo with an agent. And my friend phoned me after about a month and said, you know, Sue, what are agents supposed to do? Because we feel like he hasn't really been doing anything and we don't know if he's even doing the right stuff. So first of all, you should be telling people what you're doing behind the scenes, because I know a lot of agents are doing a lot, but you're just not telling your people. Turned out that his response really was, look at, you know, we just put it on the MLS, and if there's a serious buyer, that's how they come. Well, you and I know that that's not really the whole story. And I'll tell you, a seller certainly doesn't want to hear that. And so I helped them find another realtor. The new realtor took on the listing, same condo, same price, advertised it, marketed it, and ironically, the buyer came through a Facebook ad. Now, I know, listen, I know usually that's a low, you get a low results from your Facebook ads, but it just goes to show you've got to do everything you can. And then the second point, and why I'm going to talk about this today, is because just up the road from my house, there's a realtor who put his sign in the house. I know this realtor because he used to be at a brokerage where I used to be the manager of training at a Keller Williams brokerage, and he was there. And I know he needs more business. He certainly is not like a top producer, but he put his sign up. The house was for sale for a couple of months, and then it was yes, and then it sold. And we didn't get any marketing, not online, not in my mailbox, nothing. And I thought, you know, what comes across to me, if I was in that neighborhood and looking for a realtor, if I saw someone who wasn't even reaching out to the neighborhood, it did make me feel kind of like, well, they're not really hungry for my business. At the very minimum, I would encourage you, well, when you market a house, get a list and market the crap out of your new listing. And then at the very least, even if it's not your neighborhood, do something like a MLS printout and just put a letter with it. You know, I sold this home and I'm here to help you sell yours too. Hey, even if you just want an opinion of value, reach out for a no obligation evaluation. Just if someone's thinking about it, put a letter just in the vicinity. If someone is sitting there and wanting to make a choice on a realtor, do you want to leave 10,000 just sitting on the table? I don't think so. So make sure you have a market the crap out of your new listing system. And at the very least, do something like this. It'll really yield good results, a really good ROI on what you're putting out there. And the last mistake, okay, I see we're coming up to about an hour. Woohoo, reach the goal. But please, I am going to stay here for questions and comments after. The last mistake I'm going to call random acts of communication. In my opinion, your communication with your clients should not be random whatsoever. And this is a picture of the property twins. Now, if anyone you haven't heard of them, look them up. They're in Langley, BC. So they do marketing well. They communicate well. They have it planned out and they use all the platforms. You know, you might think, oh, I don't want to be a big player like that, or you know, I don't want to be on social media like that. Well, that's fine. For sure, you don't have to do it like them. But if you're not doing it at all, you might be losing business just because you're not communicating well. Well thought out communication for sure for your clients includes all 5 ways of communicating. That's face to face, that is picking up the phone or texting, that is direct email communication, well thought out and interesting. That's mass emails. You should be sending out mass emails once in a while, sharing your expertise. And social media. You know, again, that party is online. Let people see you and build your brand. I always encourage my clients and help them set up what I would call an annual marketing plan that would include communication for your clients and past clients, as well as just a little bit for getting new leads and making sure that you're planned out. That is, everything is according to what you want to do. Once you've made an annual marketing plan once, then at the end of the year, you just assess it, take out the things you didn't like, and add in 1 or 2 new things. But this could be your consistent communication. And guess what? Somebody else can always do it for you. So if you need to delegate, this is a great way to scale. So hopefully this helped you think of some things you can do, maybe what mistakes you might be making. I didn't talk about, but time blocking is always a big one I help people with, getting more clients consistently. But if you're doing all of this, these are the things that help you get clients. And I also help agents and teams. And again, if you're on my email list, and if you're not, and you'd like me to email you once in a while, it's just value. I'm not selling stuff. Sue@SueStyles.com. But if you're on my list, you saw Caitlin and her team here. She emailed me and I talked about her question about hiring help. They, you know, sorry, let me back up for a second. When I was on the panel for Las Vegas, one of the experts was talking about how mega teams are surging, especially across the United States. And so if you go to a US conference, you might bring that home and think, I have to have a big team to be more and more successful. I would challenge that thinking, at least here in Canada. But my experiences shows a small team, you could do 400 deals a year with a small team. It doesn't have to be a mega producer with just chewing out cold leads. This small team over the past about 3 years, I've worked with them, and she's added slowly. And she said to me on our phone call that the first year, you know, they had their sort of their baseline, and then they doubled their business. Last year, they tripled their business. COVID is a bit of a blip, but next year they're planning on quadrupling their business, and therefore they need to hire an administrative assistant right away. The great thing is in showing, you know, they've got systems for taking in leads, clients, managing closings, and their social media, they're huge on. And the biggest compliment that Caitlin said she just received was a big competition of hers in Edmonton actually referred one of their clients moving to Calgary, because Caitlin holds her license in both places, referred a client out to them. That's how you want to build your brand. Like, I'm here to help everybody. And I can help you do that too, even if it's a small team, even if it's yourself. So there's my email address. There's my website. I have lots of resources on there for you. But listen, if you need help, please reach out. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't accomplish what they want to do or they can't achieve their goals. If you feel like you're doing all the right things, but you're not getting really the right results, I'm here and I can look at your business from the outside. And I would like to offer to you, I have a quiz that you can rate your own business. This is usually something I take people through like the first time when I assess them. So it's just a bunch of questions to rate your business, and it will show you where your gaps are. And you can email me for that really simply. That's my gift to you. And so let me just stop the sharing there. And I'll open up my chat bar. And does anyone have any comments? Did you take away anything, or do you have a question? And I'll see it in the chat bar, and then maybe I can speak to it. Or Brooke, maybe if you took anything away that you want to mention for your Sutton agents. Let me grab a drink. You know, I know a lot of agents probably at the beginning of the year, you did your business plan, I hope, and you looked at what you wanted for the year, and maybe this has turned into a little bit of a different year. Could be better, could be worse. Everyone has a different business. But one great exercise you could all do is rate yourself, see, have the worksheet, see if you've got your gaps and where they are, and then you could redo a business plan. Just sort of take the fall, rework it. And I do a custom business plan, but you might have one that you love that's not overkill, and you could just work your numbers and kind of get back on that horse and get ready to play real estate, being proactive and not reactive.